What is going on, G Gang? Happy Sunday. Yes, I'm in the Christmas house. As you can see, definitely not fake at all. How's it going, everyone? Let me know in the comments if my audio is coming in clear. I was trying to mess around with my wires this morning, so I hope I didn't mess anything up too bad. We got a lot to talk about today. Yesterday, I went to go see the Cybertruck, so I'm going to show you some photos from there. I'm still editing, or I still have to start to edit the video that I'm going to put together for that. There's some Twitter stuff that I did put out. Messi, how's it going? I see you here. Thank you for going to it. The Cybertruck in person. Hope to see one in Montreal soon. I hope they start shipping it around a little bit more even around the country. You know, first thing, by the way, I got the Christmas music in the back. Yes. First thing I wanted to just say was, like, I was like, why is it, no offense, why is it in Langley? I was like, it's an hour away. I'm like, damn, I don't want to, like, you guys know I don't really like driving very far. I'm kind of a city boy like that, right? Kind of a pain in the butt. So I was like, I don't want to drive an hour back. Like, what am I doing? And then I was like, oh, I'm going to have to. Why is it there? And then when I go there, I realized the reason why they've put it there an hour away from Vancouver is because of parking, right? If a million people wanted to go see this thing, which there were yesterday, even a week later, doing that downtown Vancouver or on the 4th location or wherever it is in the city would have been a complete nightmare. So yes, hoping it comes around to your city soon, Messi. Will, how's it going? Hey, Yeshu, Los Angeles, no Cybertruck spotted in the wild yet, but haven't gotten any Tesla semis either. We're in the same boat. No, none in the wild yet. Sounds like we're looking for Yetis. Yes, audio is good. Thank you, Beach. Appreciate that. Cindy, how's it going? Morning from Australia. Mimi, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having or had a good long weekend. I appreciate that. Yes, we're going to go through a lot today. Marco, how's it going? GG Gang Marco. This is not the other Marco. Also from the Netherlands. This is our mod Marco. How's it going, Marco? Back from your trip from Japan. Hope you had a good time. Sunday fun day. Yes. Hey, from the right coast. Nice background. Sean, this is not a background. Listen. This is my cottage house environment, okay? Michael, how's it going? From Austria. Felicia said, I cried like a little girl. Okay, we're going to have to get into what that means. Mimi says, happy 1st of Advent. Yes. Well, the Advent calendar has already started in this house. So this is 100% my real living room. I don't know what you're talking about. Arrow from Denmark, Belgium, East Flanders. Spike, how's it going? DRK, how's it going? Geneva, Illinois. Jan from Sweden. And firmly in support of IF Metal. 6 a.m. breakfast in Australia. Wow, it's 6 a.m. Holy crap. Jason and Cindy, both from Australia. Amsterdam. Go to Buena Park if you're in LA. Okay. Don't know what that means. Hey, Sweet Hunt. How's it going? From Sweden, of course. Bjarnyar. With the smiley face. Hello Sunday from Hoboken. Welcome to the future. Waiting to see the first wild Cybertruck. Me as well. Hi from Scotland. How's it going? Hey, Richard from Not Legal Advice. Hey, Yash, going hunting for Cybertruck near Pedersen Auto Museum. Well, best of luck there. Missouri. Yes. Yes. Hey, Ed, don't let him in on that secret, okay? Happy holidays, everyone. Yes, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. It's December now. It's a little bit early to say Merry Christmas, I guess, but I'm already started. Where's my Santa hat? Kingston, Ontario. South Africa in the house. West Vancouver. Hey, we got a local. Hey, Bob, how's it going? Okay, so we got a lot to talk about. Let me turn down the music here so I don't drive anyone insane with it too much. And hold on, let me just... I've never done a recording in my background here. Hold on. Oh, whoa, exposed. Oh, thanks. Oh, look, Avi just passed me a Juju. Do you want to come on screen? No. Okay, she's passed me a Juju, and this is for this week. All right, folks. Okay, so let's do a brief rundown of the week, shall we? As you guys know, we always start off with Tesla stock and macro and how everything went there. So let's just do a brief rundown. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm going to pull it up on Chrome instead. Whoa, giving away stuff I have got pulled up for later in the stream. Hold on one second. Only I could see through this. Okay, so let's check it out. How was this week in Tesla stock and across the board? Let's compare it to Apple, and let's compare it to the NASDAQ, and let's compare it to our latest and greatest company that everyone loves, Lucid. Okay. So last 5 days, Tesla has been, oh, actually, hold on. I'm going to have to change views here. Last 5 days, Tesla has been up 0.73%, kind of a nothing burger week. Same for Apple, same for the NASDAQ. But look, Ken from Chicken Genius is correct. Lucid is winning the race this week, up 4% pretty much on the week. Now, of course, this week was interesting because we're all kind of hoping, okay, well, if it's a big week coming up, is it, Cybertruck launch is happening? Are we going to potentially see more action in the stock market? And it looks like pretty much it was a big fat nothing burger when it comes to stock stock advice. We're just saying Lucid delivered 3 more cars, and that's probably the reason why they were up 5% this or 4% this week. So what's interesting about the stock market right now, of course, everyone is now looking towards rate cuts. And I don't have to get into macro too much. If there's any questions, let me know in the chat. But we're looking at a time now where 6 months ago it really seemed like there was these rate hikes were going to be never ending. At this point, inflation is coming down, and the interesting dilemma here that I have as a Canadian, right, is that the Canadian economy is nowhere as strong as the American economy. If you check out the Atlanta Fed GDP, and I encourage everyone to do this every now and then to see where is GDP growth currently sitting at for estimates. If you look at estimates, if it will load, the estimates are pretty good. Hold on, where is it? Oh, whoa, hold on, what happened here? Okay, so kind of took a nosedive here in the last week, but if you look at the green bar, that's the GDP now Atlanta Fed estimate. So it's just a bit over 1% GDP growth quarter over quarter. But if you look at the blue chip, it's kind of taking a nosedive almost at under 0, so negative GDP growth. And this is the dilemma that I'm kind of talking about, because the Canadian economy has taken a dive bomb in terms of economic growth, right? Quarter over quarter, recession, like we're in recession territory. But the question is, okay, that's kind of expected. If you raise interest rates so high, obviously you're going to dampen growth. If you dampen growth, you're going to dampen inflation. You're going to dampen inflation at the expense of employment. Now the question is, when is the inverse going to be true, where the recession is at now a point, not now, but let's say at a point eventually where it's so bad that you have to lower interest rates again? So I just don't know where we're talking about that, but it seems like if you look at and actually maybe I can pull it up even. If anyone's wondering, when are interest rates going down? Interest rate projections. Hold on, not Canada. Let me just see here. So if you look at interest rate projections, these are all Canadian. That's the issue here. If you look at Forbes, Forbes is full of ads, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to access it. Anyways, oh, here, hold on, where is it? Anyways, there's this chart, and maybe I should have saved it, but whatever. If you look at the charts, we're looking at probably a spring to summer first 25 basis lowering of interest rates. Now, I don't know if the interest rates lowering in and of themselves are going to be that much of a bull indicator right away. I think we're going to probably start to see a little bit of movement in the stock market, but of course, stock market is forward looking. So if the stock market is already pricing it in, does it really matter? So anyways, these are the kind of philosophical dilemmas that we're in, and we have to think about in terms of, is the market already pricing stuff in? And has the market priced in something breaking? And if it hasn't, what does that look like? And it's too early to say. Oh, thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. Thought projections are March for our first cut. There you go. I know in Canada it is, but I didn't want to speak out of line in the States. So, okay. But anyways, the dilemma here is that the Canadian dollar is going to get weak for me. It's just going to get weak. Not legal advice. Rates will come down to make the administration look better. Well, the election obviously is coming up. And, everyone likes to say that there's no interference within, if you talk about the Fed versus what's happening with the administration, they don't dictate anything and it's all Jay Powell, right? But there's got to be a little bit of that. Tony says rate cuts, stocks are going to go bananas. Can't wait for that. How's it going, Tony? Appreciate that. Maybe thank you. Hit like and support Yashi with this great shit. Appreciate that. Maybe thanks very much. Always kind of you to say that. Hit subscribe if you're new. Our growth for a while, what I realized is the content that I was making was so option driven for so long that kind of like we just passed 22,000 subscribers. And I realized like I'm not really focusing on that number. You guys know I've never really focused on it, but I probably should do myself a little bit more justice to ask for people to subscribe. I do not do that. And the content has been turned over a little bit. So again, this whole point of this channel is for me to come on, talk about what I'm interested in, and that might differ from month to month. So, but of course, our community is awesome, and that hasn't changed at all. I appreciate that. Okay, thank you. So, anyways, that's the stock. That's the stock. Tesla stock. That's the macro. A big fat nothing burger week. But I'm going to ask you a question at the end of the segment right now. What will the stock market do? Or, pardon me. What will Tesla stock do in the next 5 days? Cybertruck is out. Delivery event's over. The first impressions are out. Review videos are out. Maybe we can watch a little bit of that. I don't want to rehash a lot of stuff that everyone's been talking about already. What will this next 5 days? What's your prediction for Tesla stock? Up, down, sideways, and if up or down, by what percent is your guess? I'm curious to see what sentiment looks like on this. So let me move on to my Tesla Cybertruck visit, and I'm gonna read some comments here as they continue in here. Okay, let me show you guys. Okay, here comes the comments. Let me actually, before I show you my Cybertruck visit, let me read off some comments. Hold on one sec. Okay, Tesla squeeze in the next 5 days. Wow. By how much, Sean? Down 15%. Ed says Tesla won't do much until getting delivery numbers. Nothing. Flat. Marco says Gary says Wall Street doesn't like the high price. Marco, it's funny you say that. I've got Gary's tweet lined up here. What's the biggest Cybertruck untruth anyone's seen today? Gonna have to think about that one. Up rapidly, sideways. I'm guessing that means Cindy. Tesla 649 by end of week. Lotto, flat, up. So it doesn't seem like a lot of people think it's gonna be a bad week. Okay, and I'll let the comments populate above my head here. Okay, so let me show you guys what I got going on yesterday. So drove to go see this. Whoa, the dimensions are way off. I look pretty fat in this. All right, I'm gonna try to do my. You see how I casually just reframed everything, not for videos, but to make myself not look extra wide? Anyways, okay. So I went to go see the Cybertruck yesterday. There was about a 2 or 3 minute lineup. Really not a lot of people. Well, compared to the first week. But I was surprised that there was even a lineup. I went like an hour before close or 2 hours before close at the sales center in Langley, about an hour away from Vancouver. And this photo, by the way, is quite, you'll notice there's no one around me. And that's because for some reason we caught like the perfect frame of a photo where the lineup outside, they were still checking in. Everyone was around me. So don't let this fool you. There's a lot of people there. I didn't like how this was still roped up. I didn't like how they didn't have the doors open, wouldn't let you touch it. Of course, kind of sort of makes sense. But at the same time, and maybe I can swing it around if I can show you my other video that I posted out. Hold on one second. Hey, look, it's me, Meta. By the way, I hope you guys like this tweet. Tesla haters, the EV competition is coming. Better watch out, Elon. The EV competition. Okay, enough of laughing at my own jokes. Okay, listen.
5 out of 5. So all in all, I'm going to rate this a 4.5 out of 5 experience. The 0.5 that I would give less is please open the doors. I want to see inside. Of course, I can see inside now that it's out and people are driving it, but I want to see the inside for myself right now. So other than that, I would rate this, and obviously open the bed if possible. But I think at the end of the day, this truck's not for everyone. But listen, everyone's going to look at it. So all in all,
and what I meant by that, and I have another clip that I need to stitch together in my video. I did scare everyone away. Yes. What I wanted to show, and I will later, is everyone came to see this thing, but the amount of people that were looking at the Model Y and the salespeople that were focused on the people that were now looking at the Model Y was a great, like, I don't want to label it a bait and switch because that has a negative connotation to it, but it was a very smart sales tactic. You bring people in as a lead generation tool to look at the Cybertruck, and then you sell them on a Model Y that's right beside it that you can touch, that you can go in, that you can look in the screen, that you can physically open the front, that you can get a salesperson to really sell you on. I think it was very smart, and they were checking everyone in, of course, so they were getting everyone's emails. They already had our emails, and they were getting what interest level they had in what cars. I thought it was very smart. And again, people don't have to buy this car, right? Like, people don't have to buy this car for it to be famous, or for this Cybertruck to actually work out. Just being famous in and of itself, the Cybertruck brings you more sales, right? So you talk about advertising. We talk about advertising. this is in and of itself a huge form of advertising for Tesla. And man, I'm really curious to see by the end of the year, because we know quarter four is usually nutty. It's usually nutty. I'm just curious to see how much of an effect the Cybertruck has. I saw a question here from T. Nelly. Let me see. I've started. Do you think we'll get any more deliveries before January? Well, actually, I think we will. Just judging from what people have been saying. I think, was it Gary that said that he's confirmed that people are going to be getting Cybertrucks deliveries throughout this month. I didn't originally expect that to be the case, but it looks like it looks like it will be. Anyways, I will post my full stitched up video of this later. I don't think it'll be very long, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And of course, I feel a little bit late to the party, but listen, I mean, I think this thing was very interesting, and hopefully I'll try to take a different angle to my video rather than just talking about the specs of this thing or the price. I'm going to talk about the strategy, the marketing strategy of the Cybertruck in and of itself. Hold on, I'm just checking my phone. I'm getting okay, cool. Okay, let's move on to what I wanted to show today. So Sandy Munro and the Cybertruck ramp. Now everyone's kind of questions, everyone's questions now are really focused around how many Cybertrucks is Tesla going to build? How fast? Of course, we know that they have the backlog of cars already ready to go. But do we actually think that Tesla will be able to sell as many cars as they hope they will for the Cybertruck? And we got on Bloomberg, Sandy Munro talking about that ramp, talking about his experience with the Cybertruck. Because look, I think the Cybertruck is bigger than just how many cars they sell in 2024. This is a way bigger story than that. Let me just turn this, whatever this thing is, off. But let's have a listen to Sandy Munro. Let me know if the audio's coming in clear. And let's hear his thoughts.
What's the conclusion that you draw on the pricing that Tesla released?
Well, I got a chance to drive the Beast, and that was the vehicle that they gave me to fool around with. It definitely, it's wicked fast. It's unbelievably comfortable. I would put it in with other $100,000 vehicles. Now, I don't know the other two products at all because I didn't really get a chance to test those. But the one that I had, the Cybertruck Beast, definitely is quick. That'll scare the daylights out of most people. And if you've got it, there's a video of the Cybertruck and a Porsche 911 taking off from the line and doing a quarter mile. And the Tesla wins, but it's towing another 911.
How crazy was that, by the way, when Tesla won by towing the car that it's racing against? That's actually insane.
It beat the 911, towing a 911. It's fast. It's extremely fast. It's very, very.
Hey, Sandy.
Yeah.
Sandy, I called you at the top of the show the teardown Titan. I just want to explain to our audience, you're principally an automotive engineer, right? And you kind of rose to prominence because you take new vehicles, tear them apart right down to the individual nuts and bolts, and assess what they're made of, assess their efficiency. You have been in the factory, and I wanted to ask you, based on the design of this vehicle and what you saw down in Austin Giga, how many do you think they're going to be able to build initially this year or the remainder of this year, next year?
That is the question that everyone has. So I'm going to ask in the chat while Sandy answers this. How many cars in 2024 will Tesla be able to build of the Cybertruck? I say build because I'm assuming they're going to sell every single one that they're able to build because they're so supply constrained at the moment. Throw your guess in the chat. I saw T. Nelly said 20,000.
That's kind of a tough question because there's a lot that determines whether or not you're going to be able to push out those products. A lot of it has to do with the supply chain, and there's a lot of things that kind of push you in different directions as far as launch is concerned. What I saw was running at 60 jumps per hour, and that's kind of normal. The rest of the factories that I've seen, the rest of the Tesla factories are running at 42, 43 seconds per cycle or per station. That's fast. That's really fast. So if they could keep that momentum up, in 12 months, they should be able to do easily 250. It depends on how many, how many shifts you've got and whatnot, but they should easily be able to do 250,000 a year at that rate.
So 200, and he says easily, right? So he prefaces it a little bit qualifies it a little bit, I should say, by saying easily be able to do a run rate of 250K a year by the end of the year. And if you look at the comments, Richard's saying 123,000, 175,000. Pavel coming a little bit low at 1,000, more than the Hummer. Well, that's I think they've already done that at this point. 40K, 77K, 100K, 12K, 200K, 22K. I'm kind of within that 40, 50, 60. I don't actually know how many they're going to do, but we'll have a really good Adam Jonas note that Elon laughed about yesterday that we're going to talk about right after this. But let's hear what Sandy has to say.
250 to 500,000, depending on how many shifts.
Yeah, and certainly Musk saying that 250,000 units possible by 2025. I'm interested, Sandy, in ultimately, how does this disrupt the pickup truck market at large? You keep on showing the sort of F-150, in particular, the EV competitor there, and how the price point is a lot cheaper there, even though Elon Musk himself said, look, it looked expensive at the time. How do you think it compares to the rest of the market?
Well, everybody's been trying to say that they're all pickup trucks, but really and truly, there's a distinct user difference between the Rivian, the Lightning, the Cybertruck, and say something like the Hummer. They're not really tuned to attack the same market. They all can do pickup truck kind of work, but I think that the average person who's got a construction company is probably going to be going for a Lightning. The guy who wants to go to the grocery store and every once in a while pick up a 2x4, that's probably the Rivian kind of story. The Hummer, I don't know who that is.
That was pretty funny, actually. Okay, so electrician guy, Ford F-150 Lightning, grocery guy every now and then gets a 2x4. I think that's probably me, no offense. To anyone else like me, that's probably the Rivian, he says. The Hummer EV, he says, man, I don't even know who that is.
But I can tell you, for me, I'm going to be brutally frank here. I'm trying to get a hold of two of them, and one is going to be my drive, because for me, if you're an outdoorsman, you got quads, you got hunting on your mind, hunting or fishing or whatever. This is the truck for you. This is what I'm truly looking for. I have a
wrong answers only. Who is the Cybertruck perfect for? Wrong answers only. Throw it in the chat.
Lightning at the office. My wife owns a Rivian. Like I say, I don't know an awful lot about. GM has never offered me one of their Hummers for driving. But for me, what I want is I want a Cybertruck.
Okay, you want it, Sandy. What is any criticism then? What is it that might be a slight worry when you go and take that pickup?
Yeah, I drove it for a few hours, and the only time that I had a problem with the thing was when I had to try and. Where the heck am I?
We can still hear you. Don't worry. Leave it.
Okay, yeah, you're good, Sandy. Keep going.
Yeah. So, anyways, the only thing that I had that was an issue was when I was going up, and I took it into a parking garage, and that scared the living lights out of me, because it's a very big vehicle, and it was very difficult for me to determine where the corners of the car are. I really didn't want to smash. I didn't want to smash Tesla's car.
That's actually a debate yesterday that we were having was, could this thing fit in my dad's car? Because my dad has two on Rezo. And we were debating this for like 2 or 3 minutes, because I'm like, yes, of course it's going to be able to fit. My dad's like, I don't think it's going to be able to fit. And then I was like, well, it's a 2-car garage. If it doesn't fit in a 2-car garage, how the heck? Like, he's like, it's too long. And I was like, what if it doesn't fit in the garage? Do you even want to get this car if it doesn't fit in the garage? So it was just like this. Can you tell like we're not truck people?
So I made the suggestion to the guys, and I said, hey, you know what? Really and truly, I can't see out of the I can't see where the corners are. How about you put up utilize the cameras at the front of the vehicle, and make it so I can see where the corners are with relationship to the walls of the what do you call it, parking garage that I was going up.
Right.
And I said, oh, no problem. Just a software thing. Well, we can probably make that as a running change. That was the only
Sandy,
thing that yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sandy. I want to make sure we get to this. I guess you haven't had a chance yet to do a teardown of the Cybertruck for obvious reasons.
No.
I guess, will you do a teardown? But also, I think the materials here are so important. This is your expertise, right? The reinforced steel, the 48-volt architecture, the wire driving, all of these things. What's your assessment of that design and material?
Drive-by-wire is long. I'm going to do that one first because that is the thing that is the biggest differentiator. Drive-by-wire, I wouldn't really want to do that unless it was 48-volt system. Going from 12 to 48 volts is huge. I mean, a gigantic advantage. The system that they've got is double and triple redundancy. So all those naysayers in Washington, the NISTA folks, even they had to kind of like nod their head and say, okay. The fact that you've got both front steering and rear steering, you got 10 degrees of rear steering, means that you can spin this thing around like a top. It's really, really, really easy to drive, especially in parking lot or tight corner type of applications. It's spectacular in that respect. The maneuverability is wonderful. The fact that I've got the ability now to have lock-to-lock at 320 degrees means that I never have to take my hands off the steering wheel. It's basically 320 degrees. You're never going in a complete circle. So that makes the steering wheel a thing of the past, and everybody's going to be going to a yoke now.
Sandy, there's a specific, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sandy, there's a specific material we have to get to. So Elon Musk is talking about how the windows, because Elon Musk is talking about how bulletproof it is. And he demoed firing a machine gun at it, and Joe Rogan with a steelhead arrow at it.
Right.
It makes dents, it's bulletproof. But what about the glass, right? I saw Franz do a demo of the window. It didn't smash this time.
Baseball. No, but it was
what
a
did
baseball,
they tell you about?
Not a shot.
Well,
put.
exactly.
Yeah.
I made that observation on X because last time it was a metal ball bearing. This time it was a baseball. But here's my point and my question to conclude. What did they tell you there on site that they failed to mention during the presentation? Because they didn't talk about the range extender during the presentation, and they didn't confirm if the glass is bulletproof too.
Okay, so the glass being bulletproof, the glass that's in the normal vehicle, I'm pretty sure is going to be a good tempered glass. And yeah, you could throw rocks or snowballs or something like that at it. But an iron ball or a bullet, not so much. The thing is, though, you can buy glass that is bulletproof, and you can put it in. It adds an awful lot of extra weight and a huge amount of cost. Let's get back to the steel. The stainless steel that they're using is a 300 series stainless steel. For those folks that are into technology, it's austenitic, and which means that it's non-magnetic, and it's quite a bit tougher, and it won't. Everything does break down eventually, but it would be classified as a true stainless steel. The thing that makes it even more impressive or important is that when they cold form it, they move it from austenite to martensite. That probably doesn't mean anything to most people, but if you know anything about material science, a martensitic structure means that you're moving into something that's really hard.
Yeah.
So normal steel is not even measured on a Rockwell C scale, but the body structure, the body panels, the reason that they can contain bullets of multiple calibers and quite frankly, multiple velocities. The reason that it can do that is because it's martensitic, and martensite is pretty dramatic. You can't believe how tough that is.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what's happening. So the steel comes in relatively strong. Then it goes through cold forming, which basically strengthens it even more. Then it goes into one more little, like the air bending and whatnot that they do for some of those linear lines, like you're showing it right now.
Yeah.
You've got that that line that goes straight across the vehicle. That is
Sorry, I just said the media loves that video, don't they?
absolutely something that makes it a whole lot stronger. So anytime you can put a bend or a wrinkle in a piece of sheet metal, that's great. I had no idea how they were doing that, but I did get a chance to. I did have a chance to look at the assembly line. I saw the machines that are manufacturing. It's a Trump machine. It's actually, I mean, it's quite simple, a lot simpler than I thought. So yeah, it's really well engineered.
Okay, well, it's always great to
Well,
get Sandy's thoughts. I think at the end of the day, what matters is there enough demand for Tesla supply? And in the foreseeable future, I do not see a case where there isn't, even at these price points. Look, we had a debate about this, and if you look at the Tesla Cybertruck on their website, there's a huge uproar with pricing as soon as this came out. Well, how are they going to sell so many of these freaking cars at this expensive of a price? Oh, I got to move out of Canadian for a second. How are they going to sell these cars at 60, 80, $100,000? Well, look, guys, if you bought a Cybertruck today, a Cyber Beast today, at 100,000, I guarantee you, if you're the first person in your city with the Cybertruck, you could 100% sell that thing for more than what it's worth today. The point being, the free market is 100% going to be pricing it in for way more than than you're costing for it today. Now, when supply is constrained, the pricing strategy here is good. You want to start as high as possible. You want to have that margin room, especially when everything is inefficient, to be able to then come down in price. You can't do the opposite, right? You can't start and undercut yourself to begin with, have demand be way higher than it needs to be, considering that you can't make any of these cars at any sort of legitimate speed yet. Screw your margin, come out, and then over time try to raise your margin to eat up, or try to raise your price to eat up margin. So I think the goal here is start as high as possible, have as much margin. So what if people are turned away and they're like, you know what, this is too expensive for me? That's fine, because you're going to find a buyer for these cars in the meantime. Great. And then over time, you can bring the prices of all these trim levels down. That's it. Noir Desire says, I want to see the real numbers of pre-orders and the real numbers of cancellations. I said this years ago. Everyone talks about 2 million cars in reservations, 1.5 million, and that's great. I think it's important to highlight how popular this car is. But there are some people saying, well, 75% of people that have reserved this car are going to close on it. No way. I've always said it's going to be below 50%. In fact, it's probably closer. It's way under 50%, maybe a half of that. So, but that's fine. Tesla is not in a point right now where they can't find a buyer for these cars. It's 100% production limited for the time being. Of course, those numbers will more matter in the years to come. But in the meantime, I don't really think we need to worry too much about that yet. So Sean says, I hope more cancellations so I can get mine. So that is my point. If people are going to cancel, that's fine. There's people like Sean that are waiting, in the sidelines. Look, here's what I have to say. And I'm just posting the join the stream link in the chat. Here's what I'm going to say. If you're a realtor, if you're, what's another outward facing, if you're running a campaign for a re-election, or, maybe that one's a little bit touchy. But anyways, if you're doing anything in the public eye and you get a Cybertruck and you throw and you decal it out or whatever, and you throw in your face on it, or, if you pull a Meet Kevin, right? Listen, that is going to attract a lot of eyes because everyone is going to be taking photos of your car, guaranteed, posting it, sharing it. You see this guy has a Cybertruck. Some people are going to be saying, what an idiot. This guy has a Cybertruck, lives over here, or he's that guy that works at this business or has this business. Everyone's going to be talking about it, good, bad, and ugly. It's free advertising. And it's going to be like that for maybe the next year or so. I can't wait for the day, construction business. I can't wait for the day. And actually, this would be an interesting philosophical question for me to ask everyone. At what point in maybe guessing in years from now, or month and year, Well, when we look at the Cybertruck outside, it just kind of be nonchalant. Like, you know how you look at a Model 3 today, a Model Y, and in 95% of cities out there, you look at a Model Y or Model 3 or whatever, and you're like, yeah, it's just a car. You don't even like do a double take. You don't even pay attention half the time because it's just another Tesla, right? It's just so out there. How many years? How many years until we look at a Cybertruck and we see one on the road and we don't do a double take or take a photo or, you know, think about who's driving it? I think it's going to be years. 2027 or so. Now, that might be a function of how many cars Tesla also delivers and how fast or slow that might be as well. Yeah. Rent it out. Yeah, you could rent it out. That's a good point. And yeah, you'd make a lot of money, but although the liability there, I don't know. If someone messes with that car, and then you have to get it fixed, I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to fix that thing anytime soon. 4 years. 31, 29. 3 years, 5 years, 5 years. It's crazy, isn't it? Cybertruck is so new that everyone's guessing 4 or 5 plus years until we think this is normal. 2 full years, at least a decade. Only reason I don't want a Cybertruck is because it causes too much attention. Well, exactly, right? So maybe 4 or 5 years from now, you want one. It's insane, right? Model Y is the ultimate generic EV. Yep, exactly. I still say, ooh, a Rivian whenever I see one. I've actually in Vancouver, there's so many Rivians. I've realized, like, probably I see one almost every day when I drive now. Maybe like one every day, at least. 2 weeks. Can we stop calling it a car? Truck people don't like that. Sorry, George. How long before a content creator tries to cross the river or a lake with a Cybertruck? Give it 2 weeks, Tony. I'm gonna put a pin in this. We could talk about this towards the end of the stream. 4.25 years, 1 or 2 years, definitely too much attention. I agree. It's a lot of attention. How many Cybertrucks built? We asked this question, go maybe rewind 15-ish minutes before I played the video. Or right at the beginning of the video. Expecting a $25,000 model vehicle in 2024. Announcement next year. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Cybertruck is out now officially. Tesla needs to put another one in the back burner. I think it makes sense too. But although with Mexico Mexico pushed back, I don't know. Maybe in China. Okay. So that's the Cybertruck. I found this amazing video, guys, of Yahoo Finance. Okay. And we don't have to watch all of this. But these guys hate the fact that the Cybertruck is out, is going to do well. They hate the design of it. It's actually quite amusing to watch. Let's
Well, it appears the engine is finally revving at Tesla after sputtering out several times over the past few weeks. The famed Cybertruck, pictured here and in dormant state, which was announced back in 2019, is finally launching in Austin, Texas this afternoon. The impact on the company has investors wondering, with our next guest saying it will undoubtedly be a halo effect across the Tesla brand. So let's bring in Autolist editor-in-chief David Underkoffler to discuss more. David, okay, I mean, I continue to just be, have my, bottom jaw just kind of slack-jawed every time I see this thing on screen. And this Cybertruck. So what are the expectations by the end of the day today? Will people be blown away, or will this be perhaps a nothing burger if they can't get the price and the delivery correct?
I'm going to go for the third option and go right in the middle of the road. I don't think anyone's going to be blown away. I think everyone was blown away when we first saw it. It's a very striking, dramatic design. So there's no surprises there. The production version looks largely like the concept we've seen for a number of years. But I think what everyone is curious about are like the meaningful metrics, right? Like you said, price. That's going to be everything to a lot of buyers. We also don't know things like range of this vehicle. We don't know if it's dual motor, tri-motor. There was talk of a single motor originally, but that's probably not going to happen now. We don't know payload, the truck metrics, right? Payload and towing, we don't know those yet. And horsepower as well. So I think there's a lot of sort of the nitty gritty details that really sort of make this, popular. People are looking to find out today.
When it comes to what makes it popular and who is actually going to be out there buying this Cybertruck, I know you've been digging into this. What did you find?
Yeah, so we at Autolist, we run an annual survey every year, gauging consumers' interest in electric trucks. We ask them sort of a hypothetical matchup of all of the ones that automakers have talked about. So not just what you can buy today. So that.
Oh, check this out. Autolist did a survey, and they asked EV popularity on truck. Toyota Tacoma EV, Ford F-150 Lightning, Chevy Silverado EV, all beat out Tesla Cybertruck. Last comes in Ram 1500 REV. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me move my fat head. Let me shrink my fat head. Okay. So, first of all, you guys know I talk about surveys a lot on this stream. Without knowing methodology, you cannot put any meaningful weight in any surveys, right? You don't know what the user base is. You don't know what their bias already is. You don't know who you asked, who you didn't. But let's see what he has to say about Cybertruck coming in third on this survey.
That would be Ford and Rivian and the Hummer truck, but also models that are expected. So that'd be models from, like Mary Barra was just talking about, the Chevy Silverado, there's a Ram version coming, an electric Toyota Tacoma. We paired all those up and said, look, car shoppers, which seems most appealing to you? We've done this for a number of years. This year, the big winner was Toyota Tacoma overall.
This is like asking, do you like candy or do you like leprechauns? One of these things exists. The other one doesn't.
Oh, if there was an electric version, and again, this is hypothetical, but an electric version of that truck had a widespread appeal. So to people who owned trucks previously, who had never owned a truck, to different sorts of age groups, that sort of was the main overall winner. That sort of kicked the Ford F-150 Lightning out of the top spot. Previous 2 years, we'd seen a lot of enthusiasm around the Ford. Now you can go buy the Ford. So I think the novelty has sort of worn off that truck. And then the Cybertruck definitely was the winner among people who had owned or currently own an EV. So EV owners are very enthusiastic about the Cybertruck. I think there's a big audience and a lot of potential there. And then also younger buyers, Gen Z, were the buyers who definitely favored the Cybertruck overall.
I mean, but it comes down to financing too. I think especially even for Gen Z, many of them, my gosh, the kind of age range continues to elude me.
Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. And I was trying to be really generous to myself there. But at the end of the day here, it comes back to how much, even at different kind of consumer cohorts, they're willing to spend into an experience where you're still waiting for there to be this broader investment that's starting to take place in a charging network at the end of the day. Does it feel like there's confidence around the existing network in order to buy into an EV experience right now?
The short answer is no. You know, we, in addition to this electric truck survey, we at Autolist also poll every year just a broader EV survey. We've done that for a number of years. And both of these surveys, year over year, it's the same three reasons that people are concerned about EVs. It's the price of them over an internal combustion version of.
If only there was a company, and hear me out, this is quite, I mean, I think I'm onto something. If only there was a company that built the world's largest EV charging network ever and is growing faster than ever and was letting people in to their charging network. If only Toyota knew about that.
Of that vehicle, it's the range that EV can travel, and then it's also where am I going to charge it? And the charging is becoming a more critical pain point for consumers. You know, infrastructure is still lagging. You know, we're seeing some investment both on the private level and then a public level in that, but it's still not solving you know, consumers' pain points of like, look, maybe I'm on board, you know, in theory with an electric vehicle, but if I own it, I don't know where I'm going to plug it in. I don't know where I'm going to charge it, and that's a huge.
Okay, bias aside, making fun, poking fun aside, look at this chart. It's percentage, so it's EV share of a percentage of new vehicle sales. And check this out, it's from JD Power. In September of this year, 2023, EVs were 9% of all new vehicle sales. I'm guessing this is just America, JD Power, right? 9% of all cars sold in the month of September 2023, 9% were EVs. That is massive, massive. To give you context, if you look down here, you know, let's say 2021, beginning of 2021, kind of the EV craze was hitting us, right? 3% in the month. 9%, folks, like the compound growth of EVs. Now, of course, this is a function of both car sales coming down and EV sales staying where they are, if not growing because of Tesla. The market sucks other than Tesla. but 9%. So 1 out of 10 buyers of any car in the month of September was an EV buyer. Insane, actually.
Concern for consumers of all ages, not just Gen Z.
David, going back to the thought that we played in the intro, the soundbite there from Mary Barra, the CEO of GM, and our colleague Brian Sazi asked her about the Cybertruck, and she didn't really brush it off. She said that she always has her eyes and closely tracks anything that competitors are doing, but she did reiterate, to no surprise, that she's very confident in GM's lineup of EV trucks. How big of a threat do you see the Cybertruck as a threat to some of the more traditional automakers and their lineup of EV pickups?
Oh my God. She just asked. I'm going to repeat it. It's just that nuts. I'm not going to watch this entire video. She just asked, how much of a threat is the Cybertruck? How much of a threat is the Cybertruck to the other legacy truck EVs out there? Look, folks, I picked this video because I was like, it looks kind of funny. Like, we got some data in here. It's from Yahoo Finance. I don't think I can finish this video. This is actually crazy. Like, I don't even know. I might just end the stream.
I don't see it as a big threat in terms of outright sales, right? Like Mary Barr was very clear, and they know their trucks. It's something they've been succeeding at for decades now. Even as they're shifting to electrification, I think they're pretty confident in maintaining a pretty strong user base. So I don't think it's going to steal sales necessarily, but I do think it's going to force people's perceptions of what an electric truck can be. It's going to force automakers to evolve their interpretation of that. I mean, that's what Tesla did, famously with the Model S. Electric vehicles 15 years ago were not sexy, they weren't aspirational, they weren't luxurious. And the Model S came in and sort of shadowed all of that. And so I think you may see some perceptions shift a little bit as a result of the Cybertruck. I'm glad it's out there. It's a refreshing take on trucks, but I'm not going to go out and buy one. So I think automakers see it as potentially something that kind of, it's going to evolve kind of what consumers may expect out of their vehicle.
This is still a company that has 2 mystery machines that have yet to be unveiled here. And if you take a look at some of their Investor Day materials from earlier in the year, essentially it's just kind of a Casper the Friendly Ghost type of cloth over type of it. How much does this Cybertruck also set up the introduction of those vehicles, and does that make or break what that looks like in the fanfare?
That's a good question. I think this Cybertruck, it sort of sets the tone for Tesla and sort of the future of the company. I don't think, though, materially it's going to have an outsized impact on sales. I mean, it may have like a halo impact on maybe the share price a little bit, but in terms of sales, I've said it before, the bread and butter of Tesla are the Model 3 and the Model Y. And there are updates, pretty significant updates expected to each of those vehicles in the near future. So I think...
Insane. Look, this chart matters. This chart really matters, okay? As one would say. So this is the global electric vehicle battery price forecast, right? This is from Goldman Sachs, not Cathie Wood or ARK Invest and as bullish. But check this out. So in 2023, the dollar cost per kilowatt hour is currently 160-ish bucks. It's projected in 2030 to come down under 80, okay? Under $80 a kilowatt hour for an EV battery. Now, this matters because of penetration of the market. Now, a lot of questions in the chat about the $25,000 model, or we're going to get that soon, announcement. Like, this is it. And this is why I picked this video before the Mary Barra question.
I think, they're going to look a little different. There's going to be potentially some different battery technology, potentially the range changes on those vehicles, and then the price as well. So I think those changes to those vehicles does a lot more sort of broadly and holistically for Tesla, for its sales, for its share price, kind of overall. That's where you kind of need to look. The Cybertruck is, I don't want to call it a distraction, but I think it's more sort of icing on the cake rather than kind of, what's underneath. That's the Model 3 and Model Y.
All right, David Underkoffler, always great to get your insight. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it.
I think what we learned from this interview is that Mary Barra is still leading the way. For some reason, and I think Sora pointed out this amazing point that I'm gonna leave you with because I think it's quite important that we share in this. GM stock price in the last 5 years is down 6.72%. Oh, hold on one sec. 6.72%. GM stock price is down. In the last 10 years, 2013 to today, GM stock is up 25% in 10 years. Since 2015, hold on. Since 2015-ish to today, GM stock is down 5%. Mary Barra has been through what happened with Cruz, what happened with Nikola and Trevor Milton, and that deal and that partnership that they had there. But she's been leading the way. She's 100% been leading the way. How, I do not know, but she's been leading the way into a wormhole for their company. Insane. She's been leading the way in a couple of ways. I agree. Like, he talks about the Gen Z and the Gen X, and I see some debate in the chat about, overlap of audience. I think that's fair. But I think the point is that Tesla's not making unlimited of these cars anytime soon, or of these trucks anytime soon. So it's not something that I think Tesla needs to worry about demographics and market penetration just yet. If the cost of a Cybertruck today was $38,000, $40,000, $50,000, like it's just kind of game over at that point, right? And we're not talking about the Cyber Beast, like the tri-motor. Well, that's a great point, Marco. So Marco says, well, last 10 years, GM is up. Hold on one sec. Let me just try to do this. So last 10 years, GM, like I said, is up, 13-ish, 15%, whatever. I mean, inflation is higher than that. Of course, we don't need to do Tesla because it's just kind of gets nutty when we talk about Tesla in those kind of years. 900% return in the last 5 years for Tesla. Since 2013, Tesla is up 6,900%. In the last 1 year, of course, Tesla is up 30%. Year to date, which is pretty close to 1 year, Tesla's up 120%. So, I mean, a little bit different here, of course, right? Hilarious. These videos sometimes, I pick these videos, someone's like, yeah, why do you even bother watching these videos? Like, is there really even a point for you to watch these? But look, I think it's entertaining. I think it's good to hear what mainstream media is proliferating out there, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And it gives us an excuse to laugh on a Sunday. So I appreciate you guys joining me here on a Sunday and having a good laugh. Okay, let's get into, hold on, where is my... I don't have this here, but let's get into Gary Black's tweet about Cybertruck. Now, I'm not going to read this wall of text here, but essentially he says, a lot of people were drinking the Kool-Aid, and a few Tesla bulls even agreed with me about this. The reason for Tesla's sell-off yesterday, this is after the Cybertruck event, is because Cybertruck pricing is much higher than expected in the lower top-end range specs than expected. And then he goes on for the whole political stuff. On pricing, Gary says, the dual motor Cybertruck was priced in at $80 in line with Rivian's 1T, but $30,000 higher than the $49,900 originally announced in 2019. The tri-motor is priced in at $100 versus $70,000 original price, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, he goes into here and says, Tesla had a strong November into the Cybertruck event and strong year to date. But we've assumed the excitement on a Cybertruck would ignite a Tesla halo effect benefiting other Tesla models. With the Cybertruck dual motor price of $80,000 higher than expectations versus high versus comparable, Wall Street will likely reduce 25 and 2024 Cybertruck demand expectations and overall Tesla halo effect. Now check this out. Omar from Omar's catalog posted Adam Jonas's note yesterday, and we have to take a gander onto this because Elon replied to it. So where is it? Hold on. Was it? Hold on. Wow, hold on. This is just 3 hours worth of tweets. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go back a little bit. Hold on. Thought Elon tweeted a lot. One sec. Come on, Adam Jonas. Gosh, where is this? Oh, here it is. Okay. Adam Jonas says that the Cybertruck is, quote, art truck, and that Tesla should just shut down production. Now, this is his note here. Back up the Cybertruck, an exciting avant-garde art truck, but worth putting into perspective. We forecast 50 deliveries in this year, followed by 30,000 deliveries next year, and 78,000 in 2025. Our average price assumption starts at $90K and falls to $84 in 2025. We expect Cybertruck, listen to this, to be supplemented by a range of Rivian-looking pickups and SUVs in the latter part of the decade with design language more consistent with prevailing Teslas. By 2025, we forecast Cybertruck will account for less than 5% of Tesla's revenue and closer to 0% of profits. Adam Jonas, Morgan Stanley, predicts by 2025, Cybertruck will amount to 0% of Tesla's profit and 5%, less than 5% of the revenue. Will Tesla take a page out of Ferrari's playbook of limited series production cars? By Elon Musk's own admission, the Cybertruck is an extraordinarily difficult product to manufacture at scale and will not be profitable for some time. We believe the company may decide to purposely limit series productions to maintain scarcity while focusing company resources on more profitable products. There are historical precedents for models of limited production, Aston Martin, of the Lagonda, as well as other more precedents, Ferrari Daytona SP3, limited to 600 units. Collectors can find bottles of Tesla Tequila or the Boring Company's Not a Flamethrower on sale for eBay. So he compares the Cybertruck to the Not a Flamethrower or the Tesla Tequila, or these kind of, as he calls it, of course, limited production art trucks. So interesting to see. This is where Wall Street is at. And, I get a lot of flack sometimes. I read out these notes, often bearish, sometimes bullish if the stock's going up, often bearish notes. But look, when we go to Tesla's volume, the majority of that volume is Wall Street, right? Whether it's HFTs, whether it's funds, hedge funds, these guys dictate what the market does on especially the short-term basis. So for us to learn about their methodology of how they're looking at something is quite telling. Now, reading in between the lines, I think Jonas thinks the Cybertruck will be an epic fail. And the reason for that is maybe he thinks, hey, in 5 years' time, when Cybertruck doesn't make it out, I do not want to be the person that hyped up the Cybertruck. I think that's where he's coming at this with. But he also came at Tesla stock and said, the stock can be at anywhere between $20 and $700 or whatever he said, right? Kind of gives himself a lot of leash. So, look, I don't agree with this take, but it's interesting to see how many people, and if he's saying it, it's the predominant, he's the predominant voice on the street for Tesla. I mean, Gary Black, no disrespect to Gary Black, but he doesn't have the amount of pull that Adam Jonas and Morgan Stanley have. So interesting. So 50 this year is what he expects. 50 Cybertrucks to be delivered this year. I think I'm on board with that. 30,000 next year. You know what? I can even get on board with that, but I think they ramp. I think the run rate by the end of next year is way higher than the 80,000 he has in 2025. Of course, they could hit a snag with production. Who knows? But, anyways, who knows? I mean, to be fair, Adam Jonas, I make fun of the guy sometimes with notes and stuff, but he's been more right in the last 2 years than I have been. I remember 2 years ago, I made a video and I said, I don't see how Adam Jonas thinks EPS is going to be this low for fiscal year 2023 and 2024. He's more correct than I was in that EPS estimate. I just didn't see it back then. But it seems like he's not seeing the Cybertruck, and I'm not saying he's going to be right again. But it's definitely interesting to see the methodology that some people use. Elon just tweeted out in Hebrew. Okay, we're not gonna have to get into this. I think that's Hebrew. Okay. Let me see. Do I have anything starred here? So Mika says, how much of Musk's antics, I'm just catching up with some questions, will hurt Tesla? Twitter's already in the ropes. Look, when Elon came out and he said the go F yourself to all the advertisers, I looked at that as kind of a Hail Mary. Like, Elon knows that the company is in a bad position. It's not necessarily, I don't even think it's fault. I don't think Twitter ads do enough justice on ROI for smaller term non-brand advertisers yet. Like Meta gets a lot of their revenue from non-brand advertisers. Twitter is reliant fully, I think, on brand advertising, on these corporate generic fluff pieces that people spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't drive performance. in the same way that Meta ads do, Google ads do. Twitter needs to get in a place where they drive performance for people. Sean says, did you take your dad to take the truck with you? Yes, he did come with us. He has 2 on Rezo. He's super excited about it. But the thing is, I don't know if my dad in that truck, like driving that thing around, I'm just thinking like, do I trust this guy driving this truck around? He's kind of a speed demon. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Hold on. I got a surprise for the ending for this. If you guys missed the front of this, here we go. Hold on 1 second. Boom. There we go. So thank you for joining me. Let me hold on. Got the Christmas music. Okay, I'm back in my living room, folks. That was a fast jog over. End of the stream is here. Thanks for everyone watching. 350 folks in the chat. Remember, Sunday streams may or may not change timing, but you know what? I will not change. I appreciate everyone tuning in on another Sunday episode of Tesla Power Hour. Let me know if you guys are, let me know what your thoughts are for the week ahead. Remember, like I always say at the end of every stream, put your phones away, put your technology away. It's the weekend. Go spend time. Yes, go pray, go do whatever you want. Mark's a day of the Lord. I'm guessing, hopefully that's a typo. Do whatever you need, right? It's the holiday season. Go spend time with family. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're always going to have Tesla news, right? Like, that's the thing. We're always going to have Tesla news. We're always going to have this breaking news. But we have to spend time with family. And I think sometimes on my Friday streams is a little more apt. I would give that kind of reminder. But on Sunday streams, it's a little bit tougher, people heading into the work week. But keep that in your head. Be positive. I appreciate the Juju gang. No matter where, you guys are always positive. Damn, you guys are exposing my non-living room. I appreciate you guys. That's it. And we're gonna have a lot of Sunday. We're gonna have a lot more streams up until Christmas, holiday season. Stock market's still open. The news cycle is always gonna be open. Sean says, my wife and kids are waiting for me to go out. All your fault, Mrs. Sean. Kids, I apologize. This Juju is for you guys. Alrighty, much love. I appreciate everyone tuning in for another episode. Hit subscribe on your way out. Join us on Discord, where we have the best private community to talk Tesla, the most positive private community to talk Tesla. Feel free to support on patreon.com/hitthatbid. Or after you hit subscribe, maybe you'll see a join button on YouTube. Sometimes they don't actually show it. $5 a month, help support the channel, buys me some Juju. I appreciate it. All right, guys, take care. Much love. Yash signing off. I'll clip parts of this stream out. Go back and watch any part of this if you want to as well. I have it labeled, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, guys, signing off. Yash signing off. Take care. Peace out.